Tony Ferguson defeats Donald Cerrone in an all-out war. This is the battle camp. Please hit the subscribe button. You'll find it in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. So this was the people's main event, UFC 238. I'd say 99% of the people that watched this event, this was the fight that we were looking forward to the most. The 1% of people that weren't looking forward to this fight the most were basically people that are either friends or relatives of other fighters on the card. And for me, the fight itself, Ferguson against Cerrone, obviously, it delivered. It delivered. Like, so when you get two exciting fighters that step into the octagon or the ring together, and all the fans get all excited about it, it's because we know how both of these fighters fight, and we feel like those two styles are going to gel to cause a really exciting fight for us to watch. It happened with Derek Lewis against Ngannou. We all thought, oh, this fight isn't going past the first round. But the sad reality is, often when there's two guys that are good at the same thing, they kind of cancel each other out. And that's what happened with Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, against Ngannou. It was just a boring fucking fight. On this occasion, our expectations were met by the two fighters. They engaged in a war. No one took a fucking step back. They both just walked to the center of the octagon and they swung it out. They fucking swung it out, and I loved every minute of it. Like, it was an exciting, fun fight, like for us as fans. And they both just put it all on the line. They took risks where they didn't need to. Like, neither of them even like none of them backed down. They were both just stepping forward, engaging in combat the whole time. Like, not that there's anything wrong with this. It's a legitimate technique or thing to do while you're having an MMA fight, but or even any combat sport. But none of them like even reset. Like, none of them disengaged from the striking distance and just took a little walk around the octagon and then came back in. Does that make sense? You see that so often, but I didn't see it once in this fight. Like, both of these guys are such strong grapplers. Like, they both got such a strong jiu-jitsu game, and both of them are strong wrestlers. But I think there was one takedown attempt by Cerrone, and even then it was like a half-hearted takedown. It wasn't like something that he really committed to. It was just kind of like to mix things up, to give Ferguson something to think about. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this fight, and I kind of felt sorry for Tony Ferguson, because I'm not making excuses for the fact that he hit Cerrone after the buzzer, but like, the fight didn't end because of that strike. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he knocked Cerrone out, and it's not like he hit Cerrone's eye after the buzzer. So I felt sorry for Ferguson for feeling bad at the end of the fight. I think that injury itself, the injury to Cerrone's eye, I think it happened in the first round. So, full disclosure, I tried to stay awake for this fight, but I fell asleep, and then I woke up about 6 o'clock in the morning, pissed off with myself for not staying awake. And I tried to watch the fight then, and then like I was half asleep. I wasn't really taking everything in. So I've just watched it now. It's now Sunday evening, and I noticed in the first round, Ferguson hit Cerrone with a left, straight left, I think it was, and I noticed Cerrone kind of touching his eye ever since that strike. And as soon as that strike landed, Cerrone's eye seemed to swell up, like obviously a little bit, and then it obviously got progressively worse until eventually the doctor made the right call by stopping the fight. But yeah, this fight was everything that we wanted, in my opinion. One thing that I did notice about Ferguson is, like, he's such a weird kind of, obviously he's got such a weird unorthodox style. The way he moves, it's kind of like he's got these long limbs, he's got this laboured, languid kind of style. But like, because his strikes are so unorthodox, he's so accurate, and he's still always able to connect with his opponent, because they're not used to seeing his sort of style, if that makes sense. And the one thing that I noticed today is, usually when you see fighters throw leg kicks, they throw them side on, and it's either the front leg or the back leg, depending on what kind of leg kick they're trying to throw. But with Ferguson, I noticed it's almost like in football or soccer, if you're American. Like, he was almost like volleying Cerrone's legs. He was like getting square on, literally just walking or running up to him and just throwing these fucking hellacious leg kicks, man. I've never seen it before. I'm not saying he's not done it before. It's just the first time I've noticed it. But yeah, so what's next for Ferguson? He deserves a title shot. And I saw an interview on Twitter, or Dana White was basically one of these guys, I don't know who it was, asked Dana White, like, can we I can't remember what the exact wording was. Effectively, he was saying like Ferguson is the next number one contender. He deserves the next shot at the title. He deserves the winner of Dustin Poirier and Khabib. And I should have really watched this again before I was going to make this point. But Dana White just skirted around it. I think the thing that I think the thing that the interviewer said is you can't deny Ferguson a shot at the title. And Dana White said, we haven't denied him. We haven't denied him. Rather than just saying, yeah, you're right, he should be the number one contender, which leads me to believe that I think what the UFC want to do is put Conor in with the winner of Dustin and Khabib, and then that's a different story for another day. But Ferguson, if he doesn't deserve a title shot after all of this, then the UFC, like we already know, the UFC isn't run on merit. But this is literally taking a piss. Honestly, like what else does he need to do? Man, I'm so glad for Tony Ferguson, especially after the shit that he's been through over the last year or whatever, and he's had his own personal problems and stuff like that. And I hope he's recovered from those because fuck me, his fighting, like it hasn't affected his fighting. Do you know what I mean? And I hope in his personal life he's back to, well, I suppose whatever normal is in this day and age. But do you know what I mean? I just hope he's better, and I hope he's doesn't have any more injuries and stuff, and I hope he can get back in that cage and fight Dustin or Khabib, whoever wins that fight. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Put your comments below. Don't be scared to hit the like button, the share button. Share this with a friend. And don't be scared to hit the subscribe button. I'll speak to you guys on the next one.